to Laconia. Duarte was right. The dream of Mars is dead. We have to build a new one, a better one. We are taking what is ours, what we built, and the proto-molecule sample is secure. Cortazar is aboard. The Free Navy has its toys. Let them burn the old world. We are the future.
They call it the Laconia problem, a ghost fleet, a rogue state, the single greatest military and ideological threat to emerge since humanity crawled out of its gravity well. The official reports you've seen, the ones curated by the UN and the MCR, are sanitized, incomplete. They speak of a simple military schism, a footnote in the history of the Free Navy War. They are lying to you. This is not a historical debriefing. This is a forecast, an intelligence assessment of the storm gathering just beyond the horizon in a system you've only heard whispered about. This is the truth of how an empire is born. Not in fire and glory, but in the quiet, calculated betrayal of a dying dream. To understand Laconia, you must first understand the death of Mars. You've seen our previous briefings. You know the Martian Congressional Republic was built on a single unifying faith, the Project. For generations, every citizen of Mars sacrificed. They lived in tunnels dug from red rock, recycled their air, their water, their dead, all for the promise of a green Mars, a new Earth. It was more than a planetary engineering project, it was a religion. It gave them purpose, identity, and a profound sense of superiority over the bloated, decaying world they had left behind. Their military, the MCRN, was the sword of that faith, the most technologically advanced fleet in the system, forged to protect that single sacred dream. And then, in an instant, the ring gates opened. 1,373 new worlds, habitable worlds, worlds you didn't have to spend a century suffocating in a tunnel to make livable. The Martian dream didn't just die, it was rendered obsolete, a pathetic, pointless waste of generations of sacrifice. The cultural and spiritual collapse was immediate and absolute. The MCRN, once the proud vanguard of the future, was now just a collection of very expensive, very advanced ships with no purpose. Disillusionment became the new Martian climate, a rot that set in deep. This is the fertile ground from which monsters grow. We've already discussed the schism within the MCRN, the so-called purists who clung to the old ways, and the architects who saw the collapse as an opportunity. It was from the ashes of this schism that a new voice emerged, a visionary, an admiral named Winston Duarte. Duarte understood something fundamental. He saw that the Martian spirit wasn't about terraforming a planet. It was about the act of transformation itself, the discipline, the shared sacrifice for a singular, monumental goal. He didn't ask his followers to abandon their faith. No, he offered them a new one. He scaled up the Martian project from one world to the entire human species. The new goal was no longer to remake a planet's environment, but to remake humanity itself, to cure it of its chaotic, self-destructive, tribal nature and forge it into a single, unified, eternal empire. He didn't offer them a new colony. He offered them a new crusade. And a third of the MCRN, the best and the brightest, the most zealous and the most broken, they listened. A vision, no matter how compelling, requires tools. Duarte's crusade would have remained a footnote, a radical philosophy debated in the dark corners of Martian bases, if not for what his scouts found through the 1373rd gate. They found a system designated ILCA 006. We call it Laconia. It wasn't just another habitable rock. It was a jackpot, a strategic prize beyond comprehension. Orbiting the planet were structures, massive, ancient, and dormant, the so-called stick moons. My agents confirmed what Duarte's people quickly realized. These were not moons. They were the orbital shipyards of the ring builders. But they were inert, dead technology, a museum of impossible engineering. There was, however, a key, a catalyst, the one thing that could awaken the ghost in that machine. A live, active sample of the protomolecule. And this is where the board gets complicated. This is where a Belter terrorist named Marco Inaros becomes Duarte's most important and most disposable asset. Duarte, a man who saw Belters as little more than vermin, made a deal. He gave Inaros' free navy what it needed to wage a war of annihilation against the Inners. A fleet of decommissioned but still formidable MCR warships. In exchange, Inaros delivered two things. First, the last known active sample of the protomolecule, stolen from Fred Johnson on Tycho Station. And second, the one man in the system who understood its esoteric language, a sociopathic protogen scientist named Paolo Cortazar. Let that sink in. A third of the Martian fleet for a vial of blue goo and one broken man. It was the greatest bargain in human history. Because what Duarte understood, and what the rest of the system was too busy fighting a war to notice, was that the builder platforms weren't just for making better ships. They represented a complete paradigm shift, a technological singularity. The ships aren't constructed, they are grown.
It's not manufacturing, it's metamorphosis. The proto-molecule isn't just a catalyst, it's a librarian. It's reading the templates in the structure and weaving matter to match it. We're not building a ship, High Consul. We are teaching the universe to remember it.
Power is a tool. The question is always, what is it for? For Duarte, the answer is salvation. His own twisted, terrifying version of it. His core philosophy is a diagnosis of the human condition. He believes our species is pathologically self-destructive. We are defined by tribalism, jingoism, and irrational hatreds that cannot be reasoned with. He's not entirely wrong. The opening of the rings should have been humanity's golden age. Instead, we immediately started fighting over the new real estate. Duarte concluded that humanity, left to its own devices, would inevitably drive itself to extinction, especially with the architects of the protomolecule's doom lurking in the void between worlds. His prescription is as simple as it is monstrous. A single, unified, autocratic empire. A permanent social order, free from the chaos of democracy and the endless, bloody cycle of war. And to ensure that order remains permanent, it must have a permanent leader. Him. This is why he sought out Cortazar. This is why he is subjecting himself to experimental protomolecule treatments. He isn't seeking power for a lifetime, he is seeking it for all lifetimes. He is engineering his own immortality, not out of a fear of death, but because he believes his vision requires a god emperor to guide it across centuries. He sees himself as a philosopher king, the only being with the will and the longevity to save us from ourselves. And he has a justification for this ultimate act of hubris. He knows about the entities that destroyed the ring builders, the unknown aggressors, the Goths. He knows they are still out there, and that every transit through a gate pokes them. He believes a fractured humanity is a dead humanity. His empire, his iron-fisted rule, is the only way to forge our species into a weapon capable of storming heaven. To fight the gods that killed the old gods. It's the old Spartan ideal of Mars. Discipline, sacrifice, unity, taken to its absolute logical conclusion, but it's fused with the cold, inhuman calculus of the protomolecule. He doesn't see people. He sees a biological system in need of an upgrade. He is becoming the first citizen of his new post-human empire, a being evolved to lead it. He doesn't want to rule you. He wants to rewrite your source code.
Prioritize channel. Echo 7, what have you found? Your signal is degrading.
Broker, it's not just the ships. It's him. The treatments. Cortazar's work. He's not just living longer. His eyes. He's seeing things. Patterns. He talks about history as a mathematical equation he can solve.
An equation. Elaborate. Echo 7, are you secure?
He's not building an empire. He's building a god. And he's the prototype. You have to get this out.
The asset is compromised, but his final analysis is confirmed. A god. It explains the plan. Elegant, patient, and utterly terrifying. It began with the Great Betrayal. While the Sol system was tearing itself apart over Eros and Protogen, Duarte and his inner circle, including admirals like Sauveterre, executed a quiet exodus. They didn't just defect. They orchestrated the theft of a third of the MCRN's most advanced ships and personnel. They used Marco Inaros as a smokescreen. The Free Navy's war was the perfect, useful distraction. While Earth and Mars bled each other dry, fighting a flamboyant terrorist, the real threat slipped away through the Laconia Gate, unnoticed. They sealed the gate behind them, mining its entrance and declaring the system forbidden. And then, silence. For 30 years, 3 decades, an entire generation. While the Sol system licked its wounds, squabbled over the new colonies, and tried to rebuild, Laconia became a fortress world. A totalitarian society singularly focused on one objective: using the builder shipyards to create an invincible armada. Duarte understood the most dangerous weapon in the universe is patience. He operated on a timescale no democracy, no corporation, no conventional military could match. He knew that by the time anyone even remembered he existed, the war would already be over. He won it in the shipyards before the first Laconian shot was ever fired. The fleet they built is a testament to that 30-year silence, a new paradigm of warfare. The ships are semi-organic, with self-healing hulls that seem more like skin than steel. Their destroyers, the Pulsar and Storm classes, are fast, stealthy, and lethal. But the true heart of their power lies in their 3 Magnetar-class battleships. These vessels are less ships and more mobile weapon platforms. Their primary armament is a focused magnetic field projector, a god cannon, capable of vaporizing matter or, when used in the ring space, inducing a consciousness loss event across an entire system. This weapon is powered by antimatter, a technology only Laconia can produce in quantity, thanks to those builder platforms. Their doctrine is one of invincibility. They will not engage in a protracted war. They will demonstrate their power in a single, shocking display of force, compelling immediate and total surrender. They will not come as conquerors. They will arrive as an inevitability. Their grand strategy is a lesson taken directly from Earth's own history. Empires are built by controlling the choke points. First, they will seize Medina Station, the hub of the Ring network. With Medina, they control all interstellar trade and travel, holding every colony hostage. Then, they will turn to Sol. They will face the combined fleets of Earth and Mars, and they will break them. Not to destroy them, but to prove that resistance is futile. They will return not as Martian separatists, but as humanity's new and absolute sovereigns. And this is where you come in. You're a mercenary, a Pinkwater security contractor. Your story begins, as so many tragedies do, on Eros. Just some shore leave before the next gig. You were on that rock when the lockdown hit. You were there when the screams started. You survived the nightmare Protogen unleashed. But did you ever ask yourself, why then? Why Eros? The official story is corporate malfeasance, a weapons test gone wrong. And it was. But it was also the perfect cover, the perfect, horrifying distraction. While every eye in the system was fixed on the nightmare unfolding on that station, on the vomit zombies and the proto-molecule hybrids, Admiral Winston Duarte and his fleet were quietly executing their exodus from Mars. The chaos of the Eros Incident was the smokescreen that allowed the Laconian Empire to be born in secret. You are a survivor of the event that changed the course of human history. But your journey in Osiris Reborn elevates you beyond a simple survivor. Your story truly begins when you stumble into a dark corner of that catastrophe. A corporate black site hidden within the dying station. It is there you find him, a dead MCRN officer, and near his body, a shattered proto-molecule vial. Does that sound like a coincidence to you? Or does it sound like a loose thread? A thread from a conspiracy so vast, no one has even thought to look for it yet. You aren't just a merc trying to get out alive. You are the first person on the outside to pull on it. You are the first to stumble upon the secret history of our time. This briefing is your initiation. The intelligence is now yours. What you do with it is up to you. The board is set. The pieces are in motion. The storm is coming. Your objective is simple. Survive. Gather your crew, find your ship, and be ready. The future is not yet written. Your choices will matter more than you can possibly imagine. Stay sharp. Stay alive. The network is watching. End transmission.